So now we have 2 guns and 2 killers.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most puzzling deaths of historical figures.
It seems very strange for us to think that a man like Edgar Allan Poe could just vanish.
Number 10, Meriwether Lewis.
He could have found something that would be so frightening to that day and age that somebody might want to kill him for it.
Meriwether Lewis of the Lewis and Clark expedition mysteriously died at an inn in Tennessee. The innkeeper's wife reportedly heard gunshots in the middle of the night and saw Lewis moving unsteadily, asking for water. She was too frightened to help him though, and by sunrise, he was dead. Known to struggle with mental health issues, alcohol use, and finances, many believe he died by his own hand. But there are many theories about murder too.
The Latin inscription on the monument basically says, "I died too young, but my country will live out my life for me."
The innkeeper's wife's story is doubted because it was night and she was in a different building, leading to theories that Lewis was caught in a compromising position and shot by her husband. He could have been killed by bandits or even an assassination plot, but we'll never really know.
We've just uncovered that a senior American military general named James Wilkinson was tipping off the Spanish about Lewis's whereabouts with encrypted cipher letters.
Number 9, Attila the Hun.
After it looked as if he was going to win, Attila is suddenly defeated and sent fleeing back to his own lands.
The leader of the expansive Hunnic Empire died unexpectedly on his wedding night. Details vary, but it's consistent that guards found the body of Attila the Hun in his bedroom the morning after his latest marriage to a woman named Ildiko. The lack of wounds on Attila's body made it unlikely that Ildiko did anything. However, Attila was covered in blood.
According to Priscus, it wasn't the Romans who caused Attila's sudden death, but booze. He simply got a nosebleed and was too drunk to wake up.
Where did the blood come from? The most likely theory is that he got a nosebleed in his sleep, and it turned into a hemorrhage due to excessive long-term alcohol consumption.
My lord Attila didn't die at the Catalonian fields, but he may as well have done.
Number 8, Martin of Aragon. Martin of Aragon ruled over many lands from 1396 until his death in 1410. The King of Aragon, Valencia, Sardinia, Corsica, and Sicily could have died from a number of issues. Some sources cite the plague. Some say it was kidney failure. Still others claim it was poison. But the most famous account of Martin of Aragon's death deals with a goose. After Martin ate an entire goose, he suffered from indigestion. Bora the jester soon came in to entertain the court. Apparently, Bora's joke about a deer in the vineyard was so hilarious, the king died of laughter.
Never go in against a Sicilian when death is on the line!
Number 7, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. The prolific classical composer died at 35 years old, maybe from an illness, maybe from medical malpractice, or maybe from poisoning. True, he was ill for a few months before his death, and he did suspect poison, but the official cause of death was a severe military fever. Of course, military fever is pretty vague, since it refers to bumps on the skin and is not an actual diagnosis.
Wolfie? Wolfie? Wolfie!
Soon after he died, a rumor spread that another composer, Antonio Salieri, poisoned him, but that has been largely dismissed. Other theories include strep infection, kidney disease, eating undercooked pork, tuberculosis, and lack of sunlight.
Pick him up. Pick him up!
Number 6, Edgar Allan Poe.
He became apparently delusional. Talking to objects on the wall lasted only a few days and then died.
The famed mystery writer was found semi-conscious outside of a tavern in Baltimore, Maryland, in dire need of medical help, and died 4 days later in a hospital. How did he wind up in that condition? One long-standing theory is that substance use played a big role, although Poe recently joined the temperance movement and the attending physician insisted there were no traces of alcohol or drugs in his body.
Lord, help my poor soul.
Another prominent theory is that Poe was a victim of a violent cooping gang, a group that forced individuals into committing electoral fraud. Other possibilities include epilepsy, syphilis, a brain tumor, and even rabies.
Poe dies alone without it ever being completely clear what exactly he was suffering from.
Number 5, Vincent van Gogh.
Don't blame anyone.
Do you have a gun?
No.
The post-impressionist painter died of a bullet in his torso, but who shot the gun, and why was the bullet buried for so long? Many believe Van Gogh shot himself, but his body didn't have powder burns and he would have had to crawl a mile to get back to the inn where he was staying. His private writings also show that he believed taking his own life was sinful and immoral.
Temporal lobe epilepsy was a brand new disease in 1890.
Or at least diagnosed.
Just been diagnosed. Since then it's been better understood, they know more about it.
Now, the murder theories come in. In 1956, a man confessed that he had been harassing Van Gogh in the summer of 1890. It's possible that as an antagonistic, gun-loving teenager, this man accidentally shot the artist. But the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam is committed to the first theory.
Là, elle est en position ouverte. Ça veut dire qu'il y a un coup de feu qui est parti avant que l'arme tombe dans le sol.
Number 4, Amelia Earhart.
I wish I could have done it faster.
The first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean reached a mysterious end when she attempted to fly around the globe. On June 1, 1937, pilot Amelia Earhart and her navigator Fred Noonan began their journey from Miami, Florida. On July 2nd, they were heading for Howland Island in the Pacific Ocean, but they never made it.
Reports of SOS calls from her radio give the world hope that she is still alive.
One of the last radio transmissions from the plane was about low fuel. It's likely that Earhart and Noonan crashed and sank somewhere in the ocean, never to be found. However, some people believe they crash-landed on Gardner Island, that they were captured by Japanese forces, and that they survived and continued living with different identities.
Earhart, this is Itasca. Did you receive transmission?
Number 3, Grigory Rasputin.
On closer examination, this bears all the hallmarks of a close contact wound.
Although his reputation was less than clean, Russian mystic and faith healer Grigory Rasputin was closely involved with Tsar Nicholas II and his family. By the end of 1916, a group of nobles decided they needed to protect the Russian Empire from Rasputin's influence. First, they poisoned the mystic with cyanide, but he was unaffected. Next, he was shot once in the chest, only to leap up soon afterward and attack the gunman. After another shot at close range, the body was wrapped in cloth and dropped in the Little Nevka River, where he eventually died of hypothermia.
He was wrapped up in linen, and he was taken from here to the courtyard in the belief that he was dead.
Number 2, Alexander the Great. The king of Macedon was 32 years old when he died. He had spent most of his 12 ruling years in military campaigns to amass one of the largest empires in history. But his death was likely completely unrelated to battle.
With architects and engineers like these, we could build cities such as we've only dreamed.
There are theories of typhoid fever, malaria, poisoning, and West Nile encephalitis. But what makes the situation so weird is that Alexander's body didn't start to decompose for 6 days. Some scientists and historians speculate that he had Guillain-Barré syndrome, an autoimmune condition that causes muscle paralysis, which could have made it seem that he was dead while he was still breathing very shallowly.
Writers of all ages seem to have placed a smokescreen around Alexander. He has become all things to all men, both admired as the noblest of humans and reviled as the cruelest of despots.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Christopher Marlowe. There are a few conspiracy theories about his death, but maybe it was just a bar fight.
A black tea for us all. There is news from a tavern in Deptford. Marlowe is dead.
Lal Bahadur Shastri. The Indian government still hasn't released information about this prime minister's sudden death. Giacomo Matteotti. Was dictator Mussolini responsible for the murder of this outspoken socialist? Lee Harvey Oswald. Was JFK's assassin killed by a man who was involved with organized crime?
He's been shot. He's been shot. Lee Oswald has been shot.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Cyrus the Great. The ruler of the Achaemenid Persian Empire was known to be unusually tolerant of the many different cultures he conquered. What is not known is precisely how he died. There are several documented sources about Cyrus's death, but they all tell it differently. Herodotus said he was beheaded by Queen Tomyris as revenge for killing her son. Ctesias claimed he couldn't settle a revolt from a nomadic Asian people. Berosus said it happened in battle with the Dahai nomads. It seems like Cyrus died at the hands of an enemy, but which one?
Is Cyrus. He names you sire. It means God is with you.
I think you flatter me. But no one has ever died of flattery.
Do you have any theories about the deaths of these figures? Let us know in the comments. Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.